I feel like if the rest of the performance is good and well received by the audience, that is going to make the audience go absolutely bonkers.
Hello and welcome to the EuroWhat, episode 265, dropping on April 22nd, 2025. We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm here with my co-host, Mike McComb. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Ben.
In this episode, we'll be talking about Finland, Malta, Latvia, Lithuania, and Armenia with our special guest, Maura Johnston. Hey, Maura.
Hi.
Thank you for coming back on the show. It's always a treat.
It's always a treat to be on the show, so thanks for having me.
There was a couple of songs in the set that we are talking about today where as soon as they were selected, it's like, oh, I really hope Maura's available to chat because I'm sure she's going to have thoughts about them.
Yes, I definitely do. Oh my goodness, yes.
Thinking about some of the past discussions we have had about poptimism and rockism, there's a lot going on in this set as well.
Absolutely.
Should we just go ahead and dive in?
Let's dive in.
All right, let's kick things off with Finland. Erika Vikman will be Finland's Eurovision representative with their song Komme. Erika's singing career began when she was a contestant on Finnish Idol in 2013. Following her stint on the show, she started singing in the Finnish tango circuit, a variation on Argentine tango that has been popular in Finland for decades. After winning the Tango Markkinat Festival in 2016, Erika signed with Sony and transitioned to more of an electropop sound. Erika's big break came in 2020 when her song Cicciolina was selected to compete in UMK. Though she ultimately was the runner-up despite winning the televote, the song would reach number 5 on the Finnish charts. Her chart success would continue with her 2021 debut album reaching number 1, and Roska, a collaboration with Karja, reaching the top of the singles chart last year. Erika returned to UMK this year with Komme, where she once again won the televote. Even with a second-place standing with the jury, she had more than enough points to win a spot at Eurovision. Komme is written by Kristel and Jori Roosberg. Last year, performance artist Windows 95 Man represented Finland with his song No Rules and landed in 19th place. Erika will finish last in the second semifinal lineup, following Serbia. Maura, what did you think of this one?
Well, this song is big and stompy, and after you read the lyrics, you realize that it's also very aggressively horny, making it the perfect blend of like big ticket sing-along pop, but also with that kind of raging metal undercurrent, and then obviously the, let's call it eroticism. I like the way that it, kind of speeds up at the end, because I feel like if the rest of the performance is good and well received by the audience, that is going to make the audience go absolutely bonkers. They're going to just start moshing in the aisles of Basel.
Yes. Mike, how do you feel about this one?
I'm thinking of last year, how there were so many songs with like bleeps and bloops, and there isn't as much of that this year, but this song has, I guess, what could be considered like bleeps and bloops throughout it. Like there's just so many fun little audio touches that are happening that I just find delightful, and like really serves a sense of humor that I think is also part of this song. Like Komme being set to do re mi. And
Yes, totally.
But then like towards the end of the song, like when it's starting to speed up and there's in the studio track, the sound of a crowd going wild and applauding and stuff.
It's directing.
I see what you're doing there. Yeah. I'm so glad that Finland had this as an option, and like I really feel like Finland was once again spoiled for choice this year, but this was a good choice to make. Ben, what do you think of this one?
Mike, I just want to call out, as the person who wrote this intro, your admirable restraint in not saying that she's going to bring the second semifinal to a satisfying finish.
Oh, there we go.
I have liked this one a lot. Erika Vikman is just so magnetic a stage presence, too. The UMK performance is basically just her and varying microphone stands for 3 minutes. And she absolutely has you in the palm of her hand. There is just a wonderful sing-alongness of the chorus, just again, because it's do, re, mi. Everybody can get on board with that. I'm so excited to see what Finland does with this, just because they're very good at amping up their performances. Like, I've been following all of the Instagram stuff around UMK. They apparently got some notes from the EBU about just sort of, okay, no, she needs to be a little bit more covered up.
Oh, wow.
And just like the immediate response from her Instagram account of like just like trying out a new costume, and it's just like her dressed as a nun.
I double dog dare her to do that in Basel.
be awesome.
I mean, she would absolutely. Figuring out like what are they gonna do with this one, because it sounded like she already wanted to make a few tweaks. I think they're keeping the big mic stand, which I like. There's a humor to all of this that I just really enjoy.
Yeah, it's very playful. It reminds me a lot of Andrew WK in a lot of ways, with that kind of like over the topness, but as you said, Mike, like also the little filigrees of electronics and stuff, and the underlying complexity that it sort of pins under the just over the topness. It's really fun and really kind of rewarding on multiple listens.
I'm delighted that this does seem to also have a lot of fans across the Eurovision fandom. Is like, this seems like an easy pick for the final.
Yeah, for sure.
Finland seems to know they've got something. She's doing a more extended tour of things. She's been in Italy for whatever reason. She's doing a bunch of the pre-parties, but she's making stops in between, and just like Finland is doing almost like a nation by nation. Hello, have you met Erika?
She really does seem like someone who is a fan of the contest. It must have been after Eurovision in Concert or during Eurovision in Concert. She posted a video on her TikTok interacting with Gojo from Australia. And the related content for both of their songs, and it was a very charming video. So she knows what she's doing. Like, she's one of the artists in this year's competition, and I'm just so excited to see. I was going to say what comes of this, but I may have to cut that. Sorry.
There's like the Gojo video before Kai even got selected, when they were doing their little promotional stuff going up to the finale. She showed up in one of their videos in the sauna just because, they're all Finnish. Very aware of what she's doing and just sort of like how to play the character.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Has there been any word on like the lyrics being censored at all? Because I know that that's going to come up in a bit.
I haven't heard anything on this one in particular, and part of it could just be that like she's singing in Finnish.
Yeah.
There's not going to be text on screen saying exactly what she's singing in Finnish.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Kai did have to change one of the words in Barabadabastu because it is a pretty strong Finnish swear. But maybe it's just like strength of swear word. I don't know.
I mean, it's sort of like, I was trying to explain that one to people the other day of just like, no, like literally looking at the Wikipedia page for perkele is just like, it's the most well-known of the Finnish swears.
Yep.
So that's probably why they have to censor it, or just like find something in like the Ostrobothnian side of things. Find the regional swear.
Your artisanal swears.
The underground swear.
Yeah. Tautumeitas will be going to Basel with their song Burman Laimi. The Latvian ethnopop group Tautumeitas formed in 2015 and found success relatively quickly. Their first album was a collaboration with Auli, another world folk music band. The album would go on to win the Latvian Music Recording Award for Best Folk Album of 2017. Tautumeitas would release their debut album the following year and earned another LMR award. The group has released 2 more albums since then and toured the festival circuit in 2023, including a gig at Glastonbury. Tautumeitas was invited to take part in Supernova, Latvia's Eurovision selection process. The song, Burman Laimi, finished third with the jury and was the runner-up in the televote. However, they were one of 3 acts to score a total of 18 points in the combined standings. The televote winner, the Ludwig, was not part of the 3-way tie, so Tautumeitas won the trip to Eurovision. Burman Laimi is written by Asnate Ronson, Aurelia Ronson, Elvis Lintich, Laura Lisite, and Gabriela Zvaisnite. Last year was Latvia's first visit to the grand final since 2016. Dons and his song Hollow finished in 16th place. Latvia will perform in slot 4 after Ireland and before Armenia. So Ben, what do you think of Latvia's entry?
This one has been interesting to sit with in that I like the idea of this performance, but I always sort of mentally contextualize it as like, oh, if this was like the opening of like the interval act and like Riga whatever year Latvia wins, where it's like this and something else, just like like this feels like the sort of like, I don't think we've gotten one of these in recent Eurovisions, but like in the 2010s for sure, it felt like you sort of always got the sort of heritage music interval act during the various point countings and phone stuff. I like that they built this off of all these little small fragments that together lyrically are kind of powerful, but also the song kind of stays at one level for me throughout in a way where I wish there was a little bit more dynamics. Like there's some really cool stuff happening vocally in the mix, but this is the one that in listening to this week's songs, I just sort of was like, okay, I need to sit through this. I can't hit the skip button. I want to like it more than I do, but like it's kind of sitting at one level for me. And I'm particularly worried about this sitting in slot 4 between Ireland, which is going to be a lot, and Armenia, which is going to be a lot, and then having at least 12 other things performing that night, where it's just like, okay, am I going to see this in the final running, in like the little recap thing and go, oh, right, that.
Maura, what do you think of this one?
So I should note that I have a very strong soft spot for artists like Vartina and Charming Hostess and like a lot of bands that sort of combine modern pop with traditional folk singing from various parts of Europe. And so this like just was totally up my alley. Although I do understand Ben's point about it being kind of one note, but like I just love the way that those harmonies land on my ear so much. It's so pleasing to me. I guess this is Latvia's first song in Latvian since 2004. Is that right?
That sounds right. It's been a while. And it's only like the second or third one that they've sent in Latvian.
And that's pretty cool too, I think, but obviously it's very kind of proto Eurovision, right? Like bringing the home country and the world together in a song. But I think with the messages that are in the song, like, curses and hexes, never can they ruin me. Like that's a yes, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
But the bridge is really good too. Like I didn't know my own happiness until I met my misery. Like that's that's just like a great pop sentiment. And I understand the one note complaint, but at the same time I think it's a really good note that they land on.
I think that there is a way for them to stage this in a very compelling way. I think it's just down to just sort of figuring out the staging, figuring out the camera angles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. I think that if they can turn it into this like celebratory thing, or, like maybe have this sort of witch's coven that then just bursts into positive flames, that would be really cool too. Or they jump out of a cauldron. I don't know.
Yeah. Ben, it's kind of funny that you mentioned the interval acts thing. As someone who has seen at least 2 Eurovision interval acts in concert as the main attraction of that concert, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm totally in the bag for that. I do kind of get the sense that I think you were kind of pointing to, Ben, where this feels like this is fulfilling maybe like an educational requirement or something. Like if this were on American TV, like this would definitely be on like a PBS special.
This would be PBS Pledge Drive.
Right. Yeah. But it's just like, I'm not sure what the educational component is other than like, oh, Latvia, it's a place. And there's just a coolness to this performance. It's just kind of hypnotic and soothing in a way. But then like when you do look at the lyrics, like it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely kind of a mantra to get through the year 2025.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very relatable.
Uh-huh.
Really, I find this song to be so much like, even with it being fully in Latvian, I'm finding it so much more accessible than their entry last year. I want this to qualify on the fact that it's like, I like this so much more than last year's entry, and that should be rewarded. So I think this is a good move for Latvia. I'm not as concerned about the placement just because like song number 1 is going to be Australia. That's going to be a lot. Not to everybody's taste. Song number 2, it's Montenegro. Probably not going to be to everyone's taste. Ireland, not really to everyone's taste. I feel like this one is just like, oh, okay, finally, something that most people I think will be able to agree on, and now the show can get started. I'm really hopeful for this one, and if it gets to the final, I think juries are going to like it too.
Yeah, if it makes it to the final, this has real jury appeal.
Totally.
Serving.
Miriana Conte will be Malta's representative at Eurovision with the song Serving, originally known as KANT. Miriana Conte has been trying to go to Eurovision since 2017 when she first participated in the Malta Eurovision Song Contest. When Malta switched to using X Factor to select their artist, Miriana competed as part of the group Fourth Line in Season 1 and reached the live shows. Conte tried for Season 2 as a solo artist, but did not make it as far. After a few more tries with MESC, Miriana finally struck gold in 2025. KANT became a viral sensation within the Eurovision fandom. At MESC, the song placed second with the Maltese jury and won the televote. The EBU seemed to be on board with the song initially, posting it on their YouTube channel as KANT, parentheses, singing, as that's what the word means in Maltese. However, the week before final versions of entries for Eurovision were due, it was announced that Malta would need to remove the word from the lyrics and title. Serving is written by Benjamin Schmid, Matthew Mercia, Miriana Conte, and Sarah Evelyn Fullerton. Malta can't seem to catch a break, having last reached the grand final in 2021. Last year's entry Loop by Sarah Bonici finished last in the second semifinal. Malta has been assigned slot 9 following Lithuania and preceding Georgia. Mike, what do you think about this one?
I love everything about this. Like the bawdiness of the song title aside, like I just think this is a really solid pop song. And Miriana, she has pipes.
Yeah.
After she won MESC and was giving the winner's reprise performance, that was the best performance of the song that she had given so far. And I'm so looking forward to how this gets presented on stage. Malta is having so much fun with this, just the way that they put the music video together, pulling in all of the random clips of the interviews, including that bizarre BBC interview when the controversy about the song having to change its title popped up. They are thinking through this. They're putting their all into it. So yeah. They are absolutely serving on this one. But at the same time, I think this is highlighting a number of the concerns of how the EBU is handling things. And this kind of goes back to Finland and telling Erika Vikman that she may need to cover up more, because I didn't think she was wearing anything all that revealing or outside the norm of Eurovision. The hairs on my arms always perk up whenever I hear things about family content, family friendly, family value stuff, because it's I know what that's code for, and my brethren do not approve. So yeah, so I'm using this one just kind of as a litmus test to be all right, is what sort of direction is the EBU heading in, and should we be concerned? I realize that Malta's maybe stretching credulity a little bit by approaching that argument, but at the same time, it is a valid argument. And if the EBU is going to start cherry picking words because a word in Polish may mean something offensive in Italian or something like that, that's a slippery slope that I don't think anybody should be sliding down. But overall, love this track.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny because now I remember when I was in high school, I did a scene from a Shakespeare play. I don't remember which, but it was in French. And the whole gist of the funniness was that I kept saying the word Conte. And that was, how Shakespeare many, many centuries ago got the groundlings going. I was thinking that maybe she could make her performance a treatise on Immanuel Kant's vision of the sublime. Because then it's well, are you going to be against philosophy? Hello? What do you hate, reading? So that might be good. I think this song is a lot of fun. I really like it. It's, it's very in line with that sort of big synth pop swath that is in vogue with Mayhem by Lady Gaga and everything. And, obviously the many artists that have preceded her. And yeah, this woman has really amazing pipes. Her singing is awesome. I think this is going to do well. I think that the American audience will probably really like it too. I think it's probably going to, light up social media in the immediate. And I'm really curious to see how it does. And I'm really curious to see how they kind of get around, because that's always the fun part, right? When you watch the VMAs or the Grammys, or even I teach a music journalism class, And I always show the students the clip of the Rolling Stones performing their well-known song "Let's Spend Some Time Together" on the Ed Sullivan Show, because that was how Ed Sullivan made them like censored "Let's Spend the Night Together." So I'm really curious to see how they're going to wink at slash mock slash run around these restrictions being placed on them. Ben, what do you think?
What they did with the requested revamp is just brilliant. Everybody who's been paying attention to this knows what word is supposed to go there.
Right.
So, like, I'm not concerned about that. I'm mostly just like, has the EBU seen the recent episode of SNL where Nwodim said men ain't? And the audience responded. What kind of like anti-booing technology do we have in the arena? Because everybody in that arena is there because they are a big Euro fan and they are going to be screaming that word. I adore this song. The song is so much fun. This one and Finland together, also on like the pre-tour, just like Miriana and Erika immediately have found one another. Just like they're having a great time. We love to see it. This is so much fun, and this is another one where there's just like such a sense of humor to the video. In particular is doing some wonderful riffs. This song has the same energy to me of a lot of like Sabrina Carpenter stuff.
Yes.
Which somebody, I forget where online, described it as sort of the same energy as when Bugs Bunny is dressed as like a sexy lady.
Totally. I love it.
Like, I had the thought earlier today of like, okay, yeah, so like Erika Vikman is sort of like Jessica Rabbit and Miriana Conte is Bugs Bunny. They're both doing a great job. The one thing that I don't love about the original MESC performance is like the weird kind of Sound of Music-y staging on it. I think they should drop that. Make her look like an expensive pop star, because this is like an expensive pop song.
Yeah, I have to think that they're going to get rid of that, like mainly because I hope they were just reminded, no, that takes place in Austria, not in Switzerland.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, like
you think they'd know.
Yeah. But the other thing is just like from the video is like, we don't need, like, why is the exercise ball there?
Oh, that was the funniest part of the national final performance, where they're just like at the very end, just all on the pink exercise.
Well, yes, but then when it reprises in the video for like no reason,
yeah,
it's just in all of the scenes now.
Yeah,
but no, just like I love this so much. I'm just delighted to see what they do with it. I want the best for Malta, if only because I think they would have a lot of fun hosting the contest, and also it would be cheaper. Valletta 2026.
Yeah. I mean, if they really want to solve their financial woes, because I know that has been a problem the last few years, get the song on Touch Tunes in the US, please. Like, I look for it every night that I am playing in my pool league in Boys Town. And it's just like, come on, this will like make you thousands of dollars each week. And I don't know, maybe they're waiting until May when it's a little bit more front of mind for everybody. But get on it, Malta.
Get on a Touch Tunes. Have a Eurovision playlist on Touch Tunes too.
Exactly. Yeah.
They should definitely. That should be their content marketing.
Yeah.
Just like everybody email Touch Tunes. Hello.
Katarsis will represent Lithuania at Eurovision with the song Tavo, akys. The alt-rock band Katarsis formed in 2020 and reached number 4 on the Lithuanian singles charts with their second single. The band entered Lithuania's national selection, Eurovisia.lt, for the first time this year and competed in the 4th of 5 semifinals. They won the jury and the televote in the heat, pulling in the second highest televote total across all the semifinals. In the grand final, Katarsis won the jury, earning 120 out of a possible 132 points. This, plus leading the televote again, gave the band a strong advantage going into the all-televote superfinal. The group received 47% of the televote in the superfinal and will head to Basel in May. Tavo, akys is written by Katarsis lead singer Lukas Radzavičius. Last year, Lithuania's entry Luktelk by Sylvester Belt finished in 14th place. Lithuania will perform in slot 8 after Greece and before Malta.
I love this song. I went to 2 shows the last 2 nights, and this is the only song of these 5 that reminds me of the show I went on to on Tuesday, which was the Deftones show. The other, I went to Kylie Minogue last night too. So obviously the other songs are a little more in line with that.
Yeah.
But I think that this is great. I feel like it's really like atmospheric and, maybe as like cool as Eurovision can maybe get. Sorry, Damiano David, don't get mad at me. Cause like I don't know, like, there's this whole kind of shoegaze revival and post-punk thing going on with the youth. I'm making air quotes if you can't see. And I feel like this is very of that. People have a lot of interest in bands that I would play to use as my bathroom break. Not that they weren't good, but they were just the long songs in my college radio show. And I feel like this is very of that. So the one thing that I wonder about what they're going to do with the staging is the ending, which I feel has what I call the personal Jesus problem. If you've ever done personal Jesus at karaoke, you know how like it just goes reach out, touch faith for like a minute and a half. And the audience is like, let's wrap it up. I think that the moody outro like works on record, but I worry about it, like how they're going to make it engender tension in the live setting, especially for something that's such an outlier from the rest of the show.
I also kind of like the alt-rock energy of this. It's something that's kind of missing in the rest of the lineup this year.
Yeah.
Like what's the song for the hard rock people? I think there's one other one that kind of fits in the same spot in a very different way. But this is sort of hitting the same spot that I'm thinking like AWS from Hungary many years ago. Kind of the same kind of like Hatari where it's a little bit more abrasive. The song On Record for me, I kind of wish it was doing a little bit more. I think I hit the same spot that you do, more of just like, okay, but like the last chunk of it is just Tavo.
Mm-hmm.
So like they've been doing a little bit more video series where one of the videos the band has done is a version with a Lithuanian choir in the mix as well.
Oh, see, that's cool. Okay.
I'm just like, can you guys get some of this into the backing vocals since you are allowed to have backing vocals on the record? Because like the power that adds to it really does something for me. And then they also just did like a cover of another band called Lemon Joy.
I saw that, yeah.
Where that one's also really good. So I love what they're bringing and what they're doing as a band. I'm sort of like, this song's just kind of like a B+ for me. But like it's definitely filling a void that I think is otherwise missing in the lineup and could get some fans there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of like how they could build that tension, like that the audience in the arena is going to be singing along with all of those Tavos, and like I don't know, maybe if they're able to turn up the mics on the audience the way that they have to turn down the mics during KANT is like maybe that would work. Yeah, Ben, you gave this a B+. I can't grade it on the letter scale. Like I have to do this on like pass fail, and like I will mark it a pass just because this is just not for me at all. I don't know if there's anything objectionable about it. Like, it's just like, this is just not the sort of music that I seek out. It's interesting to see how engaged the fandom is with this one. It's like, oh, yeah. I'm so glad that they have an audience. And like, I mean, this went to #1 in Lithuania. It is resonating with people, but it's kind of like with Poison Cake in Croatia, where it's like, I don't really get that one either, but people seem to like it. Good for them. I don't hate it. It's just like, yeah, it's just kind of there for me. I guess my only concern really with this as an entry, it's kind of in a weird position in the lineup, but maybe it's like, it's such an outlier from the rest of the field. I don't know if there is a good position in the lineup, but being between Greece and Malta, maybe it is kind of a bridge between the two. I don't know, but I hope it does well because I always want Lithuania to do well. I'm not planning on listening to this one probably after we are done with this conversation, just because it's just like it's just not for me.
It's just not your thing. Yeah. And like the thing I have really liked about Lithuania, like since they have started doing like Pabanovišnaya now Eurovizija.lt, is just sort of we've gotten like some really nice variety out of that. They're making interesting choices, and I do want to like applaud that.
Yeah.
There weren't many songs in the Lithuanian field that were like this one either. So like it stood out there. It will probably stand out in Basel as well. So congrats. So
I'm really curious to see if like some label in the States picks them up too, because I do feel like it is like kind of in that vein that is really gaining a lot of traction among like 20 somethings and young 30 somethings. So I would watch out for a potential, not, obviously it's different than Måneskin because they were like their own thing, but like at the same time it's like that American rock audience that really gets passionate about this type of music. I could see them really, seeing the clip of this and like being like, who are these guys, blah. So
yeah. Yeah, because it really was kind of reminding me of listening to the modern rock station back in high school, and like the sort of like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, like the wheat from the chaff of their catalog. This is definitely in conversation with those. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like as somebody who has been following along not only with like the main feed of Stereo Gum's the number ones, but also the alternative chart ones. Yeah. Just we are square in the middle of what's happening in the column right now. Totally, of like that period of the 90s. So yeah, it is spot on there. I'm a survivor, staying alive, do or die, my prime on the fire. I'm a survivor, won't be tied up. Break from the pain, take your place, I remind. Armenia has selected the song Survivor by PARG to go to Eurovision. Pargi Vardanyan, who goes by PARG, is a musician blending folk, electronic, and alternative styles. He was born in Armenia, grew up in Russia, and earned a degree in theater arts and acting. While in school, he was in a band called the Edge Chronicles that toured in Armenia, Russia, Georgia, and Ukraine. He left the band and returned to Armenia in 2022 to pursue a solo career, including a collaboration with 2023 Eurovision representative Brunette. Armenia revived its selection show Depi Evretsil to choose their representative for Eurovision. 12 songs competed, with scores provided by a national jury, an international jury, and televote. Survivor finished second with both juries, but won the televote by a healthy margin, giving PARG the win. Survivor has 10 songwriters. PARG, Alex Wilkie, Armin Paul, Benjamin Alasu, Eva Voskanian, John Algidi, Joshua Curran, Martin Muradian, Peter Bostrom, and Thomas Giesen. Last year, Armenia landed in 8th place with Yako by Lada Niva. Armenia will perform 5th after Latvia and before Austria. Maura, what did you make of this one?
I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but, my big non-music interest these days is pro wrestling. And the vibe I got from this song immediately was like rejected theme song for the B show of a wrestling promotion's television product. I'm a survivor, stay alive, or do or die in my prime, I'm a fighter. Like, I can see, like, the superplexes and the moonsaults being hit to those lyrics as, he makes each syllable count. It also, I think, will be really interesting in contrast to Latvia because that song has such feminine energy and this is, like, so just, like, masculine. This is, again, like, the Andrew WK comparison comes up, but this is sort of the more bludgeony side of Andrew WK, where there's the Erika song is the more kind of like, oh right, he's also a classical composer, kind of thing. I think it's a little samey. I feel like, Mikey Ruckus, who does the music for AEW, the wrestling promotion that I watch, he's a really great, he could have punched this up a little bit, maybe made it a little more out there, but it's, I look forward to seeing it on Pluto TV when I'm watching reruns of New Japan Pro Wrestling sometime soon.
It really does have the quality of like song that would be in an ad on Pluto TV that I've heard 32 times over the course of like one episode of Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, like this, my first note on this one is perfectly cromulent. Like it is it was reminding me of our conversation about like hotel art a couple of years ago and talking about Poland's entry solo. And yeah, like when you have 10 songwriters, you're going to get that kind of result. And yeah, I think it's fine. It's being mocked for sounding so much like Imagine Dragons, but Imagine Dragons has hits.
Do they ever?
It may be formulaic, but if the formula works, go with it. I think the thing that I find most interesting about this entry is it was selected, I believe, the same weekend as Norway's entry. And they had very similar vibes with metal arm thingies on like kind of like a Ren Fair field. And then like a couple days later, Norway's just like, yeah, we'll change our staging. And it's like, oh, Norway's showing its belly. It's it's like, oh, because like they're not in the same semifinal. So like I think if it were relatively the same staging, it would have been fine because it's all just going to be pyro and whatever. I'm fine with this entry. And yeah, like Eurovision is a big tent, and this is serving an audience that is not typically served by Eurovision content. So yeah, have at it. So.
Yeah, no, this is excellent, just like corporate softball league walk-up music.
Yep.
Yes.
It just perfectly criminal. It just like hits the nail on the head of just like, it is song. I'm surprised CBS hasn't optioned this to just like stick on top of the ads for Survivor.
Survivor 50 is coming up. Like it's
Survivor 50.
I mean, they could also, just option it as its own series. This song could just be like, here's the plot of the show. Do what you will.
Yeah, NCIS Yerevan or something.
Yeah, but like I find myself just like kind of missing like the sheer Armenianness we got in the last couple of Armenian entries. Like Rosalind was less so, but like Brunette had like that whole chorus in Armenian, and then Lada Niva last year, I still think about that performance. It was just delightful. So to go from that, which is like really leaning into kind of the folk side, to this, which is just really leaning into the Swedish songwriting machine of it all. I see you, Thomas G. Son. It's kind of disappointing, but like whatever. They wanted to have a selection. You need songs to fill a selection. Thomas G. Son loves to write songs for selections. I enjoy this one when I'm listening to it, but rewatching the live performance from Depi Evratsil, his vocal is not good live.
I could see that, yeah.
Which is not necessarily the point of this sort of song, but just it was bad. He's not hitting the notes. So I don't, yeah.
It's a vibe song. I don't think it's like a technical proficiency song.
It's not aiming for jury points.
Right.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, like the extreme competence of it. Like, I feel like juries are going to respond to that because that's what they normally do. But yeah, it's the 10 songwriters thing. Like, that is an Uptown Funk of songwriters. So.
It's definitely existing in that meaty part of the curve where like the meat is raw and being gnawed off the bone.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to incorporate that in the staging, that'll be a choice.
Like the big Brontosaurus burger from the Flintstones will just come out.
But yeah, no, there's like a level of heterosexual energy to this song that feels weird for Eurovision.
Yeah, well, that's why I think it's good. Like the fact that it's going to be after the Latvian entry is so like that's just going to be like whoa,
Mm-hmm. And then going into
Austria. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the second semifinal was the weirder one to have to figure out the running order for.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about all the stuff in the mixture of this soup. Yeah, we're getting some real weird lineup choices like this.
I do not envy the producers having to put this list together. But speaking of the other songs this year, are there other entries that you're particularly excited about, Maura?
I have to dig further into everything. Obviously, I'm always curious about what Sweden and Norway are going to do. And Espresso Macchiato, which I've been getting press releases about and sending to Ben. That's totally going to be a fun thing. I think I'm very excited about that.
I have said this before and I will say it again. The producers had an opportunity to stick Tommy Cash's Espresso Macchiato directly next to Italy's song, the preview performance of that, directly next to San Marino's song, which is Tutta l'Italia, and just make everybody mad. No one is pleased with this running order except me.
Ben for producer, 2026.
Yes. Yeah. This is my application. It's gone straight in the trash. Speaking of Tommy Cash, like of the various a little bit more videos, just saw it cross our social feed that he was that like his cover song he was doing was John Cage's 433.
Classic.
I'll allow it, Tommy Cash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maura, thank you so much for joining us to chat about these songs.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this was great. I'm really excited. Like this has spurred me on to dig further in once I'm done with the 18,000 word project that has been taking over my last 4 weeks, which has been great. But 18,000 words is just a lot of words to write in one place. So that's sort of been why I've been laser focused on that and nothing else. But no, this has been great. It's always such a pleasure to discuss Eurovision with you. You're so knowledgeable, and you always pick the right songs for me to come yap about too, which is nice.
Yay. Is there anything that you'd like to plug or point our listeners to?
I do a show on Uncertain.fm, which is a streaming station based here in Boston. Actually, it's based in Watertown, but semantics. It is on Tuesdays from 10 p.m. Eastern to midnight, and it also reruns on Wednesdays at noon. I play a lot of things. I will probably play at least one of the songs we discussed tonight on my next episode, but I will also be talking about seeing Kylie Minogue and Deftones back to back, which was pretty great. I'm writing for the Globe, like I wrote about the Deftones show for the Globe, and next week I'm going to 2 wrestling shows in a row, so I'm very excited.
Nice.
That's how I'm celebrating the beginning of BC's Easter break.
Yay.
Yay.
You've earned it. So.
I have. Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the EuroWhat. Thanks for listening. The EuroWhat podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me. You can find our full archive of episodes on our website at EuroWhat.com. We're also causing trouble over on Blue Sky. Find us there at EuroWhat.
Next time on the EuroWhat, we finish up semifinal 2 coverage with our special guest, Ned Raggett.